Maybe in the crater. We haven't had any use for that yet. But a crater would sort of imply that something fell there at one point. That's what I'm more interested in. But we'll see. There should be bounty targets here at the very least. We are in fairly good shape. Woodcutters. Right, Woodcutters Grove's the thing we want to go to last. We might have to... Well, the Devil of Karak might basically go out of control there. Why is the crater not frozen over? That's what I'm wondering. Is there something heating it up? Has something crashed there recently? What's this crater business? I sort of want to revisit the ogres in the hope of finding another of the helmet pieces. Find a whirling agent of copper, adder, and stone. Did we complete the quest already? I don't think so. White Marsh Part 2. You have no leads. Horse. Hello, Mr. Horse. Still here. You're gonna die here. You don't move away. Apparently that's not my business. This is where we got the clue for the spell grimoire. Right, there's nothing we can do here now. Ah, crap. Not sure if we have any reason to be here, but a lot of things have happened since the last time I was here. So I'm basically hoping that something new might pop up. There is like one person here we can talk to, the matron, and I think that's pretty much it.
You may wander our camp freely.
Oh, really? Don't recall anything interesting in the lower levels. Few fights, but those are already dealt with. And we can't access the ice chute anymore. Ooh, presence of one of the other pieces of Vulgaro's Hill. Yeah, this is the main reason I wanted to come here. Another is the upper cavern access there. We can't go down from the upper part, but we might be able to go up from here. Although I doubt it. But Garrett's Chorus. I would expect them to be in the armory mine sections. But we have to go here anyway. Right. At least this is interactable. An icy shaft leads up into the darkness. The walls of the shaft are slick and handholds are few. There's no way to climb up from down here. Right. Well, thanks a bunch. Maybe it's part of a existing piece of armor now. The problem is, I really don't want to steal it. Maybe I can just talk to someone. Still, let's see what we find first. Maybe it's not a problem really. Hopefully there's some kind of an indication when we get closer to it. So then I have to basically go rummaging through everything. You know, it's on this level. It looks like we'll just have to open the specific containers and hope we'll get it. Still stealing, that's the problem. There's a lake here, but I think I've saved, right?
I can do that. That's settled.
They don't seem to react to me anyway. At least as long as I don't take anything.
A simple test. That's settled.
So it's not in these containers?
Light, flame, and sound.
I picked up a... okay. Only one part remains. Part of Garroth's helm is present somewhere in the lower reaches of the cavern held by the flames that whisper Ogre Clan.
Light,
Can I
flame, and
talk to you?
sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
But where? It's not in the containers. Is it some kind of a hidden piece? I can't talk to these. Right. What exactly am I supposed to do here then? Apparently says just standard crap. Is the secret? It's not that big of an area. Piece of a helmet. Didn't spot anything here either. These are all emptied out. Okay, it's becoming a little bit troublesome. What exactly are my options still here? They're grayed out, they're empty. They're not in the other containers I can access. Well, there's one. Alright, supplies only. So, what do you want from me, game? Somewhere in here. Final piece. I'm not exactly going to give it up, am I?
Laying low.
There are no secrets. Not in any of the containers. No one will talk to me about it. So what exactly am I supposed to do here? Does one of the ogres have it? What else can I do? I'm not gonna start slaughtering people in the hopes of getting it. Just gemstones. So if I don't find it in these two rooms,
I will walk
I'll just
unseen.
abandon the entire thing. It's just nothing unique about those. Technically, I suppose they could have what I'd seek, but there's really no reason to believe that they do. So one of the ogres probably has something. Well, fuck me. Right, I can't find it. And I'm not gonna go on a murder spree just to satisfy some spirit. Guess we're all abandoning that then. It's just odd that I can't even ask anyone about it. I mean, that would be the logical choice. We are on at least neutral terms with them. So, have you seen a piece of a helmet? Anyone? Anyone at all? No? Yes? Maybe? Run along, little mouse. Cheese and sugar or flour. Can't use this. That was my initial thought, that the part we missed there might have been exactly what we needed. There was some kind of an item there. Very tough to reach.
I can do that. That's settled.
The laundry bus.
I can do that. That's settled.
Nothing noteworthy. So either one of the ogres has it or it's somehow hidden and I just can't find it. I'll still talk to the mage and see if I can
Moron
ask
can
him.
provide you with supplies and a place to rest.
Uh, let's try to look at her chest.
I can do that. That's settled.
Archer's gloves, belt of bountiful healing. Right, it's not worth starting a war with these people. It's gone. We're not going to be able to complete it. If it's so well hidden that none of us could spot it, it's also gone. I can't get that many levels ups or increase my skills too much, so it's just gone. Disappointing, but can't really do much about that now. I'll talk to the ogre outside and head toward the woodcutters here.
Adair, you were a military man. Ever consider making a career of it?
I did for a while. Then I heard you could make money shoveling pig shit, and thought that sounded better.
Well, at least it would get you out of the deerwood.
Particularly interesting. Okay, what were we supposed to do here? There's some kind of bounty, and then there was the woodcutters. Not sure if the bounty is exactly here. We'll visit the woodcutters, look into his soul, make the choice. What are we gonna do? Old Dunred Beguiler, Junior Wizard. Spell Sword, Kendrick. Excellent. See what happens.
More than wrong.
A lot of confusion in the air. A lot of confusion. Could you do something? No, you're confused. At least the assassin seems to be more functioning still. It's pretty much the only one.
Right.
Paralyzed? Stuck. Okay. Can't shoot him for reasons. Okay, and want to do that. Let's move you away. Okay. Good. Gain control of things. Where are you?
Awesome.
Not moving, that's for certain. How about with the shadow stick? Right, the situation maybe looks worse than it is. There's a lot of little nonsense going on here, but I don't think we're in any real danger anymore.
Beyond seek.
Cape of the Master Mystic. Invisibility when hit by a critical hit, once per encounter, plus 12 deflection, that's very high. Grants minor arcane reflection, once per rest. It's not bad at all. And we got level ups too. Right. Plus 12 deflection. Versus plus 9 deflection. He doesn't really need the extra deflection. The thing is, that's his job, so I'll try to push that as far as it goes. He can use better gloves though at the moment. Not sure if we have better gloves. Plus 1 perception. Damage reduction, burn. Holy meditation when hit or critically hit, plus 10% ability of area effects. Well, it's better than nothing, I suppose. I don't really know what this even does. Concentration and will plus 30. Plus 15 for 30 seconds. So we'll basically, when we get hit or critically, there's a chance we'll do holy meditation when hit or critically hit. This isn't pretty. I don't think I want to give her him the cloak. It's nothing terribly bad about the cloak. It's just he doesn't need it at all. Maybe someone else could have better use for it. Basically, we would have to have a pair of gloves we would want to give to someone to replace the bracers of deflection. Plus 2 dexterity. Plus 2 mechanics, plus 1 dexterity. Maybe... What does dexterity is speed? Who has terrible cloaks? No one. Well, we can do this. We have lacking rings with quite a few people. Right. Vastly improved saving throws. Right, I'm just gonna talk to the woodcutter and leave things like that. The wax maker added. Major item. Anonymous patron has been inquiring across Eastern Reach for aid in recovering some of Gay Left's research notes using leads that were discovered by unknown means. The guy spent decades creating devices that could mimic magical effects and properties. So it's the wizard there. With the woodcutter, we just need to read him. Hopefully, we can make an informed decision after that. It's him, Harmke. I remember that weak chin and those knuckly knees. She stops, staring motionless at the figures among the trees. Weak chin and knuckly knee. Can't be too many people matching that description.
How goes?
The elven man emerges into the clearing and freezes, staring at the devil of Karak. For an elf, he is tall and rangy, with a weather-beaten face beneath stringy, greasy hair. The others with him turn, glaring and gaping at the bronze golem.
Auroch's shadow. What's that wicked thing doing here?
Harmke swallows, a lump bobbing in his neck. Why are you so nervous?
It's a killer! Look, we don't want no trouble. Just trying to do our work.
Beads of sweat have formed on his forehead despite the chilly air.
We'd be much obliged if you'd leave us be. And take that thing with you.
He looks at the devil with a mixture of terror and loathing. Enough! What do you see, Huron? Is that the man who torched us? The devil sways on her feet, her whole body moving around the axis of her ankles. Though she's talking to you, her attention, a concentrated sphere of essence, is focused on Harmke. Read his soul. He steps away from you, but your awareness reaches through his trembling skin and the feeble resistance of his fear. You see memories, snow-shrouded forests partitioned by fallen pines and firs, days measured by the steady swing of your axe. There are other moments too, recollections that flare up like the hearth's welcoming fire. There are children, spry and lanky like you, but still full of the rowdy energy of youth. Together, you scatter winter bloom petals on a grave. You reach deeper into Harmke's soul. Years roll back. A torch in your left hand bathes your face and shoulder in heat. All around you are other men and women holding other torches, and the mountain air is acrid with the stench of smoke and sweat. Rage billows over the others. It's been a fever in your blood for days now, exhausting you and invigorating you in equal measure. You are at the edge of that town, cold morn. It's hours yet before dawn, but the commotion has started to awaken the village. Candlelight ignites behind the frost-crusted windows. The haunted faces peer out at you through the glass. You begin to doubt yourself. Just then, a door slams. A villager comes racing through the streets, kicking up snow. With his stark white face and pale hair, he looks almost like a ghost. The line of torchbearers ripples as he gets closer. He picks up speed, but nobody moves toward him. You imagine him breaking through the row, shattering your ranks like the bad dream that brought you all here. You imagine waking up in your bed and the heat from your torch nothing more than the warmth of your wife sleeping next to you. Instead, the villager reaches the row of torchbearers a stone's throw away from you. A woman advances from the line and buries her dagger in his neck. The rest of your fellows shout. Rage, memory, and the bloodthirsty triumph boil up in you. You all came with a purpose. You came to bring justice to the traitors of Cold Morn. The next few hours are painted in colors more vivid than life. You put your torch to anything that stands and your sword to anyone who runs. It is as if Magran herself whispers in your ear and guides your hand. Exhaustion has almost cooled your rage when you spy a house at the edge of town, one of the only buildings that hasn't already burned. It's flanked by knotty spruce trees, and the color is painted yellow. Yellow, the bloom of sunrise, the hue of your son's hair, the color of cowardice. Just then, someone barrels into you from behind. It's a man, someone you remember from the journey to Cold Morn, though you can't recall his name. He snarls at you, mad with indiscriminate rage, and it occurs to you that he's mistaken you for one of the villagers. You smash the window and hurl your torch inside. The other man has turned away. You think you hear a child shriek within the house, but it's impossible to tell above the roar of the riot. Harmke shivers as you pull away from the dismemory. His eyes are wide with guilt and fear. Spit it out! What did you see? Her feet are rooted in the snow, but her limbs jerk and jangle. He burned down your house. She stares at Harmke. You hear only the whirring mechanism in her throat, but Harmke leans closer.
What did you say?
His mouth quivers.
What did it feel like? The torch in your hand, the blade you carried, what did they feel like?
A wild inhuman scream echoes out of the bizarre machinery in her throat. He drops Harmke and his companions to their knees where they cry out in horror. Gears squeal and crank as she rushes at him. Well, this is gonna be ugly. It's your fight. Go fight it.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Actually, she's not even attacking the target. Ah, fuck.
Leave it to me!
Self-defense.
Leave it to me!
Almost 15 years I've been looking for him.
She stares ahead as you approach, the ink-black marbles of her eyes fixed on some distant point. Her essence swells and swirls in the throes of contemplation.
All that fretting and wondering. And the deed's over in less time than it takes to tell.
Well, I hope Harmike's death has brought you peace.
Peace. Now there's a funny word for it. I killed a lot of folk in my time. Felt their blood slick in my hands. Smelled their flesh as it burned.
She holds her hand in front of herself as they twitch and spasm.
And I always used to imagine what it would be like to have Harmka under my knife, feeling his breath come hot and fast, smelling the fear ooze out of him. Couldn't feel a thing. His fading pulse weren't no more than a powder of rain to me.
She shrugs, letting her arms clatter to her sides. What do you mean?
This body, it weren't made for feeling. Gouging my fingers into Harmka's wasting flesh, his screams just buzzing in my skull.
She flexes and unflexes her fingers in a few lightning-quick motions.
All it did was remind me
Of what?
that this is a madman's fever dream. Like a prison, but no, 'cause in a prison, you lay your head down and you feel the straw soft beneath you. Your flesh prickling in the cold, black bread crumbling on your tongue.
She turns her arms in front of her, examining the scroll work on the back of her hands with horror and wonder. Now, can't really be as bad as all that.
I still dream I'm folk. I wake up some mornings wondering why I can't feel the floor beneath me, thinking I must have fallen and gone crippled. But then I lift my head, see a bronze corpse stretching out in front of me.
She lowers her head, a tremor runs through her. I'm sorry you have to go through that.
It's not pity I want, it's a choice. I dream too of what Galvino did that night. Those moments. I'd endure another cold morn if it'd spare me this fate.
She rubs her hands together, tracing her even joints with her fingertips. What happened exactly?
It was after I got caught in Stalwart. They'd locked me in a little house by the inn, the old mayor and his cronies. When a crowd of them came for me in the dark of night, I was only surprised it had taken them so long. Only they didn't march me to no gallows. No, they snuck me to another house on the edge of town, real sneaky-like. That's where I met Galvino.
Galvino was living in Stalwart at the time.
True enough. This was before the locals gave him the boot. Still weren't a popular fellow, though. He was fiddling with some machinery in his workshop. Had his sleeves rolled up even though it was cold enough to see your breath. Never actually looked at me until he started fitting some copper helmet over my head. By that time, the mayor's goons had me trussed up good and tight. Galvino was having himself a grand time barking orders at that lot.
What did the mayor have to do with this?
He'd agreed to hand me over to Galvino for an experiment. Claimed it was a fair punishment, but the townfolk weren't too pleased at being denied their stone pitching. Didn't help that they heard the jangle of copper in that deal. In the end, that's what sent Galvino and the old mayor packing. So while Galvino's fastening that helmet over my head and them copper bands around my arms, I'm starting to look at his contraption. And that's when I see it.
Her black eyes are fixed on some undefinable point. Her essence beams.
It's this metal suit strapped into the machine just like me. A cold, dead-eyed thing, all done up with fancy carvings and such.
Did you know what they intended?
I had this terrible cold feeling in my gut, but I still couldn't figure. I start asking Galvino and the rest of them what's going on, but they're too busy to answer. Then suddenly, they're waiting, staring at me with that fixed, horrified look. But they ain't watching me. They're watching for something to happen. Galvino tells the woman nearest the machine to flip the handle. And then, just pain. Being torn apart every which way, feeling my soul peeled from my body. By the time I came to, I couldn't feel a thing. Just this dull, distant sort of ache.
I heard the old man cackling and chattering. When I saw him looming over me, looking down at me with hungry eyes, I tried to scream. I tried to swing at him.
I think that was when I knew.
Well, it's over now.
Don't much feel like it. The rest of Stalwart didn't take kindly to having a killer in their midst, nor to seeing their mayor and the ornery Valians strike a secret deal. They drove Galvino out, destroyed a fortune in machinery, and wrote a letter to the Academy in Salona, ruining what was left of his name. Still, he's lucky he didn't get a pelting. The old mayor fled too, and Stalwart's been as snug and cheery as ever.
Now that we've dealt with Harmke, why have you stuck around?
You're better company than Galvino.
She says it in an offhand, teasing fashion, but she looks away from you, fidgeting with a rivet.
Been a while since I were out in the world. Guess I'm keen on seeing more of it. Even if I'm stuck with a bleeding heart. Anyways, I've been wondering about that fortress.
About the screams of the dwarves, perhaps? About the secrets of the dwarves. She's quiet, fixating on her squeaking joint.
Near everyone thinks it'll have just the thing they need.
She takes a list off on her clicking fingers.
Those villagers wanted to fix up their brook downtown. Galvino always thought it carried some great secret of Animanson, and all them adventurers came looking for fancy gear.
What are you hoping to find?
I don't know. Something to help me feel. Or forget. Effigy's eyes, maybe just something new. I just figured, with those dwarves being expert smiths and all, maybe they had something to unmake me. Put me back into my body.
I doubt that's possible. Your body's decayed by now.
I know, it were just a passing fancy.
She turns away, her essence buzzing with agitation. Right. Hopefully this is the end of it, but
Hey,
I don't know. I was always guessing that killing the guy is not gonna do her any good. But it's hard to see with those options that are available to you what's the end result. I mean, because it's all tied to your options. Do you have an option to try to speak her out of it? Do you have a option to try to interfere or something? This time we had none. So it just happened, and not a lot I can do about that. So we need to awaken a guy to get access to the fortress. Right. I'll do the leveling up some other time. It's not like we need to level up now anyway.